Hello, my name is Recky, and welcome back for another reaction. Military. I do love them, and I hope you do too. This one is definitely a bit different. Still military though. And it's something that I always was thinking about, how they actually do this. It's just a stupid thing. It's a stupid thing, but it's something I always wanted to learn about how they do it. So I was surfing the YouTube and I came across a channel called Business Insider. And it's 17 minutes long ish. And they let us know how Army cooks are trained to feed 800 soldiers in the field. Boot camp, that is. I've seen and I've been helping out feeding about 175. That's basically it. You're talking about 800 super hungry, starving soldiers in boot camp. They are hungry as crap. And I am super eager for this one. If you do enjoy this, smack the like and of course hit that subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And of course, we say thank you to the awesome people of Recky, the Patreons and the channel members. Thank you so much for the amazing support. Thank you. And a big shout out to the Supreme Tier donators over by Patreon and of course on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you so much. It means freaking everything. And Supreme, the Supreme donator, Southern Mom. Thank you so much for the amazing support. Thank you. Now, let's continue. Of course, if you want to join them, click the link for the Patreons in the comment section. Or click join, become a member. Let's do this. Yeah, boy. Oh, let's do this.
When U.S. Army soldiers are on deployment or running field exercises, they have to eat a lot.
You got this burning right here and no food cooking. Stop.
That's where Army culinary specialists come in.
If a unit goes out to the field, if a unit deploys, well, they've got to eat. So we're going with them.
After completing basic training, future culinary specialists head to Fort Lee, Virginia, to train for 8 weeks, where they'll learn how to cook for up to 800 soldiers in this. It might not look like much now,
Stand clear.
but when it's fully assembled, it has the capability to act as a fully functioning kitchen that can keep troops fed in the most remote of environments.
I love this.
We went from a box on wheels to a whole freaking kitchen, right?
But
I've seen a similar, we call this a tos in Sweden. It's just a weird name. I've seen a similar, was maybe half of it, and it looks amazing. It looks so military. It gives me a couple of goosebumps here because it looks good. It looks really good.
before trainees cook for hundreds of hungry soldiers out in the field,
That shit looks like more than 5, doesn't it?
they have to start with the basics.
There you go. Okay.
Some of them don't even know how to turn a stove on.
Insider spent 5 days at Fort Lee, observing several classes at various stages of training.
One of the main things that I like to tell my soldiers as I'm training them is we don't just provide food, we provide fuel. For those personnel who are on the front line, for the war fighter.
Oh, I hear you.
Hold this side in.
3,000 to 4,000 members of the Army and National Guard graduate every year from the 8-week course, which is broken down into 5 sections. First, classroom training on food safety, sanitation, and nutrition. Then,
The thing is that you cannot cook anything you want to them. You got to think about nutrition. You got to think about all the fat and the protein. So the guys and the girls get exactly what they need for being fully fueled for boot camp or even war.
hands-on training in the techniques of cookery, before moving on to baking, cookies, pies, and more. Next, 5 days of cooking in the Garrison dining hall.
Oh.
Finally, training culminates outdoors, with a week of cooking in the Army's mobile kitchens. Trainees arrive at Fort Lee with varying levels of cooking experience.
What kind of experience did you have cooking before arriving at Fort Lee?
I cooked a lot with my mother.
I have an associate's degree in culinary arts.
I had no experience at all cooking.
Prior experience is not necessary. One of the awesome things about our job, everything you need to know, we can teach you here.
So the customer ate it, they got sick. That's all it takes.
Training begins in the classroom, with 2 days of instruction in sanitation and nutrition.
The information that trainees
I gotta pause again. And that's another thing that is so super important. They're talking about the foodborne infections, foodborne intoxications, microorganisms, and contaminations. It's just so perfect. This is why I love the Army. I am addicted to the Army. I have no clue if this is actually something that the Swedish Army even does. I gotta Google that. But it's a typical American thing. You gotta keep boots on the ground. You gotta get all the crap you need in order and proper training. Recky loves that.
learn is to ensure that they're cooking good, nutritious food for the warfighter. And then they also learn about safety, sanitation, how to prevent infectious disease, how not to transfer and cross-contaminate food, and then how to provide safe meals.
Sanitation is everything. If your people aren't safe, and if you aren't safe, then the mission can't be completed.
Trainees are tested at the end of each block of training in the form of a 50-question exam.
We have anywhere from 9 to 15 different diseases that they learn. And then they have to understand what food items they're found in, how do their practices impact their ability to be able to spread those diseases to different customers within those facilities.
You will go to your stations, you will put on your hat, and you'll put on your apron.
Training moves from the classroom to the cooking labs during techniques of cookery.
The techniques of cooking is basically their first introduction to the kitchen. Some of them don't even know how to turn a stove on, so that's where I get to teach them how to use their equipment.
But before they start cooking, trainees need to become familiar with the tools they'll be working with.
This first bend in your finger, this first little knuckle, all right, this is gonna be the furthest point out, so this is gonna be on your knife. It'll be just like this. There's a couple methods that I use, like a claw method, making sure that they tuck their fingertips underneath, because in our field, you kind of need your fingers, you kind of need all of them. Fingers what? Same size all around, right? All right, so.
Trainees get to see instructor demonstrations on how to cook certain foods during their first 4 days in the labs. But they won't have that luxury later on.
Weigh up your beef, put it in your large pot, and you just move on to the next step, okay? They'll come up to our front of our stations, and we'll literally show them how to do it step by step, accordance with the recipe card. Then they have the opportunity to go back to their stations and apply what we taught them how to do that product.
It looks wonderful.
You don't have rice in your small pot yet. Half a cup of rice. All you have to do is read your recipe cards, guys. That is key.
I did that a million times. I've cut myself. I have dropped potatoes and carrots on the ground because they're just flipping out of your hand.
If your beef stew is at a boil, you're gonna put the lid on your beef stew and then turn it down to a simmer. I think in this whole procedure, if you don't understand how to read a recipe card, then you're gonna fail. You have to be able to read it step by step. That way you can learn.
I got to see the recipe. The reason why I want to see the recipe is I want to see if, training recipe, we got calories, fat, cholesterol, sodium, calcium, protein, and carb. We got everything here. I really love this. Unfortunately, I don't know what 5.5 ounces or cups is or tap. Well, that's TSP. That's teaspoon, right? I know that, but it looks amazing. It doesn't look like a normal recipe. It looks like it's stacked. This is what you need. This is what it contains, and I love this. And the method down here, I love this. This is
you have to be
definitely one of the best videos
step by step.
I've seen.
That way you
without
can
a doubt.
learn how to do these things and execute. That looks like more than 5, doesn't it? Jesus. There you go. Okay. The hardest thing is probably retaining information, learning the techniques that we teach them, and then applying it. Take your ladle. You don't want to overkill. Make it look nice and neat. part of your grade is presentation, guys.
Once the trainees have completed their recipe, they bring their finished product to the back of the cooking lab to be graded on presentation, technique, and
Wow.
execution.
We teach them the basics.
I gotta say, I'm pausing all the time. I'm sorry, but I am blown away by by the training precision. You gotta look good. You gotta taste good. You gotta have nutritional value. Come on, I love this.
It's how to cut, how to slice. We also teach them how to simmer, how to braise, how to saute, and then we teach them about moist heat, dry heat. All those things incorporated get them ready for what is known as a cook-off at the 5th day. Don't stress out. Have fun. Make sure you have your utensils.
During the cook-off, trainees have 1 hour to prepare a chef's salad, green beans lyonnaise, and spaghetti with a ragu sauce, but won't receive a demonstration or explicit guidance from their instructor.
All right. I love
Coming in
this.
today for cook-off, I was actually excited because I enjoy cooking. That's fun. I was a little nervous about what to expect. Unknown.
Go
not knowing
Sparks!
I'll make a mistake.
It was just a whole lot of anxiety, a lot of nervous thoughts, and excitement bunched in one cluster.
Got it, Thomas.
5 minutes, you got 5 minutes.
Sometimes they are scared because there is a time that they're timed with, and also it's just stressful. And then you got me watching you around your back and all that stuff.
At the end of the
Simple things,
cook-off,
Skip.
the trainees' dishes are graded on a number of criteria. They'll be docked points if items are not cut properly, dishes are undercooked or overcooked, or if their sauce is not the right consistency.
The thing that you did wrong was supposed to be slices, correct? So
I thought when you meant
those
slice.
those are rings.
Oh.
Yeah. But you did good on everything else. You overcooked your onions a little bit, okay, and they're a little bit too big, okay? A lot of the students did a lot of things right. The biggest thing is when they do cut-ups. Some of their cuts that they do for these products are either too big. Some things that are wrong is they don't drain all the liquids off of certain individual items. Presentation is important because it's all about eye appeal. So when you go to any restaurant and you serve something outstanding, that's going to show the people that you put your flair into it. You put your own artwork into it. Sauce, it's outstanding, good job. Salad, good presentation, and good cuts, right? So good job. All the trainees passed all their products today, so it makes me feel very happy. It makes me feel like they listened to what I had to teach, and they applied it to everything that they plated on their presentation.
And actually preparing it and see actually how you got all this put into one dish. It comes out so well.
Looks
it tastes
amazing.
so good. It puts a lot of pride in your heart.
Sure you use your rubber spatula to get all that sugary goodness inside the bowl.
Now armed with a foundation in the techniques of cooking, trainees move on to baking.
Well, everybody has a sweet tooth, but like I say, we're just not feeding soldiers, we're feeding civilians too. So we just make sure we give them a nice home away from home treat, and I think everybody deserves that.
When you're putting your sweet potato pie mixture in your shell, ensure you do not get it on the edges or it's going to burn. Everybody tracking? Remember, get your butter knife, you will stick it in the center, and then pull out, it should come out clean. So if not, just put it back in there.
But sometimes in techniques of cooking, they have trouble in that, and then they become the best baker in this section because they know they have to pay attention to detail and they can't skip any steps.
Let me know if you knew this, if you were well aware of the demands that Army cooks have or had. I'm super because I did not know anything about this. I am blown away. I don't know what I am. I just love the fact that they go through a culinary training program, and hopefully when they did their service, they can apply for any job in any restaurant, and this training is seen as something important. Let's say I go into a restaurant saying I'm going to apply for a job here, and I say, all right, what's the experience? I'm going to say like, okay, was a Army culinary expert. will they say, heck yeah, get your butt in and start cooking? Or are they saying, all right, well, we'll give you a call. Let's see what you got. You're going to come back today, just see what you know, what you learned. Let me know if you know this.
Baking is a science, and if you don't pay attention exactly, you're gonna get it wrong.
If we had a conventional oven, yeah, it will be done. But these gas, because the heat is coming from up from the bottom, it's taking longer for it to cook around it.
I've learned a lot with Miss Harrison. She's a great cook, great teacher.
So once your fruit pie and your sweet potato pie, when they're done, I want you to put them both on the same sheet pan. And then we're gonna present it over there by our numbers.
Once again, the trainees' finished products are graded on a number of criteria.
For my custard pie, you guys did a real good job. So the filling looks good, so now my eyes is going to the crust, okay? So that's what's gonna sell me, the crust. Whew, it's tight. Who's this, number 6, number 2, and number 7 again. You did a good job today.
The baking module of training also ends in a 50-question exam and bake-off. But for now, trainees get to enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Garrison Dining Hall.
The Garrison Operations module of training is a culmination of everything the trainees have learned so far.
It's the first glimpse of what they will see once they get to their actual unit after they graduate.
Trainees spend 5 days cooking in an actual Garrison kitchen at Fort Lee,
I'm hungry now.
preparing a variety of food.
So that's it, check. While you prepare for cook now. Fall out.
We observed one platoon of trainees over the course of several mornings, which starts at 0500 with what's called a cook's mount.
It's accountability for everyone that's supposed to be on the shift. And we're checking for the hair, we're checking to make sure that it's nice, neat, we're checking for nail length, we're checking to make sure that there's no abrasions or make sure that they're not sick.
Once the trainees pass their daily inspection, they start preparing breakfast.
Think about when y'all make cinnamon rolls upstairs in small quantity baking. You're making it the same way.
Operations are a lot more thorough than what I had expected it to be. Everybody is assigned to their own station and position, and whatever doesn't get done in the end, we pick up the slack and as a team and work together to ensure that food gets handled out in an orderly manner.
Slice the entire ham up, cut it off, then you remove the ham, right, and you put it into your third pan, okay? For the first couple of days, I look for them to be sort of confused. They don't know where things are. They don't know how to turn on certain equipments and things of that nature. You want to kind of make it in a straight line, right? And then remember which ones you laid down first, right? Come Thursday and Friday, then that's when the instructors typically take a step back, and then we kind of let them operate on their own so we can see if they're grasping the information.
Even though it was stressful, it was really like hands-on, and you got to like learn and experience a lot more things, and you got to make more like meals, prepare dishes for like other people to eat, not just yourself and your platoon.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're talking about field operations is, of course, way different than standing in a big kitchen with all the utensils that probably is available in the entire world. The space is limited. It's a bit more stressful, I think, when it comes to field operations. And I did it once, but it was not this. We had a big pot. We cooked pea soup. Basically, it. I'm super eager to find out how they are doing this.
Trainees head outside for the 5th and final module of training, which is focused on field cooking operations.
So you're gonna alternate your meat between here and here. You know what I mean?
The equipment that we teach here at Field Operations Training Branch, that's the equipment that we use in the operational force.
But before they can start cooking in the mobile kitchens,
On lift, everybody raise it up. Ready, set, go.
1, 2, 3, on lift.
they have to learn how to build them.
Let me get 4 up there, everybody else down here on the ground. So the mobile kitchen trailer, we can use that when we got up to 300 personnel to feed 3 times a day and in basically any environment. Take a mental note of where everything is, all right? Because that's how we're going to pack it back up.
In addition to the mobile kitchen trailer, Trainees are taught how to build and operate the Army's Containerized Kitchen, or CK.
The containerized kitchen, that is our largest field feeding platform. We're gonna use our containerized kitchen more often in a situation where we've built up some infrastructure. We have the capacity to feed 800 personnel. And with our capacity to feed more people, we can bring more people in to support that area, to defend that area, and to accomplish those missions.
Watch your head, watch your head, watch your head, watch your head. The process of setting up the CK is very challenging because there's a lot of big moving parts. You gotta watch out for your battle buddies because there's a lot of things that's unfolding and spreading out on the CK, so you gotta communicate.
Over the course of 2 weeks, trainees have to pass a 50-question exam and demonstrate proficiency with each piece of equipment.
We went from a box on wheels to a whole freaking kitchen, right?
Hey.
Y'all made that with love, huh? Y'all made that with love. They look good.
The final week of training is spent cooking in the mobile kitchens, and not just for themselves.
At any given time, we can have up to 300 or 400 personnel out here on the grounds. They're gonna break down their meals. They're gonna identify how many personnel they're actually feeding, and then they're going to actually prepare meals for everybody at FOTB, not just their group.
I specifically told nobody to turn on the MBU without my eyes on it. You got this burning right here and no food cooking. Stop. Put them on there. Again, nobody will turn on any MBUs without me visually looking at you.
Learning in the mobile kitchen, it's been challenging because it's different. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of things that you have to take in consideration.
The aspect that I do enjoy the most in the mobile kitchen is the closeness I get with my battle buddies. I could just be like, okay, here's this, put this to the side for a minute, help them out, cool, spin around, help the next person, go back to what I'm doing. Like, we work as a team.
1 full scoop of oatmeal, 1 full scoop of potato, and 1 of these.
In my experience, their response to utilizing the equipment is by far and away positive. They like learning and they like seeing the fruits of their labor.
When we go to the field, soldiers are tired, they're running through missions, they're running through lanes, and then when they see you, it's almost like they're not tired no more because they got food, they got nice, hot chow, and that's just the most motivating thing.
Looks amazing.
According to Fort Lee, about 95% of trainees who start the course are able to graduate.
Oh.
Once they do, they'll be assigned to their next unit, either domestically.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to know if they can go out in the real world after their service and actually apply for a job in a restaurant, and it's seen as an education to be reckoned with in that field in the civilian life. Let me know if you know anything about it.
Or at one of the hundreds of Army bases around the world.
Training here has been an experience, it's been fun. I learned a lot of new things, cooked in a lot of different elements and environments and stuff like that, so it's been great.
This job is not lower than any other job that's in the military. It's just as hard as any other job out there. What I think about food is morale. When they come out of the field doing, crazy things out there, and they have a good meal, a hot meal, then it makes them just happy and gives them more energy and they're able to accomplish their mission.
Yeah.
Is the meat in there?
Yes, chicken burritos.
All right, okay. Let's see if we can wrap this up. Like I said, I never knew that this was actually a training. That's why I love America. I love United States when it comes to the military. They're always going super hard. There's no half measures. There's always 100%, no matter what you do. Culinary expert. I now want to be a culinary expert. I love to cook. I'm not doing it regularly, of course, but I would love doing this because, like they said, I've been in the military. I've been out in the field working my butt off, and as soon as I heard the chow bell or someone said it's time for food, it's time for lunch, it's time for dinner, my heart just skipped a beat and I was happy. I had energy because I knew that I'm going to go eat because I'm currently starving. I love that. If you did enjoy this, smack the like and of course hit subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. If you want to become one of the awesome people, click join to become a member, and of course, check out the Patreon. Link is available in the comment section. Other than that, I'm Recky, and you stay safe. I gotta shave. Look like a hobo.